Most writers don't know how to write siblings, especially in animation. Big brother, thank you for always being there for me. You are my hero and my best friend. Bullshit. It looks like they all forgot one essential part of siblings dynamic. The brutal honesty, with no filter, and the will to destroy each other's ego at every moment. But in an affectionate way, you know? Also, who says little sister or little brother? We barely call each other by our full names. I'm telling you, there's just too many only children in the creative world. Or they're lying for the beauty of the scene. It's obvious that not everyone lived with another human being in development for the first 18 years of their lives. When your sibling is around the same age as you get accustomed to having them around, so much so that you can't imagine them walking away for good, especially because of an argument. It's the default person in your home, default person to play with, to talk with, especially as a kid, so it's only logical to be 100% honest with them. If you start taking shit from them, you're stuck with it for the rest of your life, so you better start vocalizing your boundaries early on. Or anything that comes to your mind, really, the sky's the limit. Here's a quick tutorial on how to write a convincing interaction between two relatively young siblings. Number 1. You show affection, never say it. And when you show it, make sure it looks as annoying as possible for yourself, so the other one doesn't catch the act of kindness right away. For example, never take "thank you" for an answer. It has to be something along the line of "thanks, well you would have been a pain in the ass if I didn't help you, so thanks for the drawing, thank God you didn't try." Number 2, and this may be a little specific, but if a parent tries to force a word of kindness between the siblings, make sure to answer with the most vile and ruthless roast imaginable, or refer to number 1 and disguise the compliment behind a little insult. Number 3. In the end, it's the both of you against the world, so alone or in a small family context, you're usually sworn rivals. But in a party when you know no one or in any hostile environment, your sibling is your only reliable ally, and a pretty reliable one. That's when you can spot more obvious camaraderie. Plus, you don't want to seem extra rude in public, when really it's just how you interact daily with him. So I guess my advice, if you want to show obvious kindness and friendship between two siblings, is to put them in front of a common obstacle. Not necessarily a dangerous situation, but in a situation when you'd rather talk with someone, you'd rather have someone you can trust with you. Number 4. Never say you miss them. Just come crashing into their personal space to rant about your life. As annoying as it can be, if done correctly, this specific approach can be accepted and reciprocated. Number 5. Some people are very different with their siblings than when they are with their friends. It can be interesting to explore that with your characters, because let's say one offends the other one. What is he gonna do? They're stuck together. You rarely have that kind of friendship and relationship between two friends, especially two friends who just met. There's a lot you can accept with a sibling. So let's say you have a very shy character, but you'd like them to be honest and speak their truth, speak their self in front of the audience. Just give them a brother, just give them any siblings they can rant to, they can insult and tell them anything. They don't have to have any filter, they don't have to be shy. You'll discover your character in a completely different way. I'd like to show my comic as an example. The first scene, we see Morgan and Soline interacting. It goes like this. Question, answer. Insult, insult. Question, ignore, question. Act of kindness, mockery. Insult, word of kindness, mockery. You can read the first chapters in French or English on my Patreon, or you can listen to me while I sum up every interaction this way for free. I don't know if you'll get much of the story this way, but feel free to do so. Of course, not every dynamic is the same. I have a lot of common experiences with my own brother, and we have less than a 2 years difference in age. We grew up so much together, we have the same memories and childhood, we shared everything, so we know we can be as honest to one another as we want. There's no way we'll grow apart. Keep in mind that all the interactions can shift when one is a lot older than the other one, or based on the gender. Because let's be honest, usually two sisters have different experiences than two brothers, and when it's mixed, it's a roll of the dice, I guess. But I find it fascinating. I love asking people about their siblings. I love when these kinds of relationships are shown on screen, or in fiction in general, and that's why I wish writers would put a little more effort in it. It doesn't take much to convince me. You show me a little bit of sibling friendship and fighting, and I'm in tears. And this makes me think of another topic, strong friendships between men and women in general. I don't see it portrayed very well in most media, and I understand why. We're so used to seeing affection between them being romantic, foreshadowing. Even in real life the line can be blurry. But it exists, I promise, and it can be so strong and long-lasting. I have a soft spot for friendships of any gender that turns into a family bond. And you just know some personalities aren't meant to be a couple, but they work so well as a strong friendship. Sorry, Yang, Katara told you she saw you as a little brother and you could never convince me otherwise. That kiss was... ugh. Okay, quick rant. I think Katara wasn't in the right headspace to discern what feelings she had for Aang. All she knew is that she was scared of losing him to the Fire Nation just like she lost her mom, and since he kissed her right before the battle, that must mean they should be together, right? I hated that kiss, it felt so uncomfortable. But back to the Brotherhood topic, I know I'm giving you a pretty harsh picture of it, and honestly it's mostly for humoristic purposes, but no relationship is set in stone. It's made to evolve over time, and I can positively say that it gets easier to show and accept affection as you age. I also gave you the perspective of someone who identifies as a girl and have a brother, so that's the kind of relationship I'm used to, and I see that fiction tries to represent it, but it's always a little off, you know? Your sibling can be your longest friend and your best bully. Usually when you're kids, it starts as the bully, but then you're just so used to the presence of one another. If you have a good relationship, usually, you become pretty good friends, very honest friends. There's no filter when you're around the same age and power in the household, and the first reaction to any challenge is being competitive. So do what you want with my testimony. I know everyone is different, but come on. Thank you, big brother, you are the best sibling ever. Doesn't exist. If you're wondering about what I'm drawing, I'm designing the main character of my comic, Throne of Eden, when he was younger. He lived in some kind of circus owned by the biggest corporation of the town, the Eden House. The second kid on his left was the first friend he ever had, and the woman on the left is the showrunner, if you will. Her design is a little bit inspired by Aloysia from the musical Mozart l'Opéra Rock. I like the very, very puffy dress with the tight corset. I exaggerated it with my design so that she would seem almost in pain because of her role. And that's all I had to say. Thanks for watching!